All right. What's up with it, boxing fans? I hope all is well out there. Getting close to the weekend and some very interesting fights coming up, I see. But you know what? I thought I'd put together a little diagram to help those poor souls that are not quite sure about the legal striking areas in boxing. It's pretty self explanatory, color coded and stuff. So let me know what you think and if it helps. So, look, while we're at it, and I have your undivided attention, I'm sure you've heard some crazy boxing stories and myths and other crazy things that might have you saying, I thought I'd put together a list of some of the most common myths that are brought to me. Anyway, let's discuss a few to dispel these crazy boxing myths. All right, I'm just going to throw them out at you in no necessarily order. Let's see if we can make some sense of these things, why don't we? First up is the most infamous, probably the most infamous boxing myth I've ever heard in my life. And that is you have to register your hands to box. It is funny, but no. There's no need to register your hands. Have you ever been driving or to a mall and you saw a business where they register hands? Nah. Now, don't get me wrong. Boxers do have to be registered, licensed to box. In the amateur boxing world, in order to compete, you must obtain your boxing book, which is like a passport book. It keeps your records of all your fights, histories, etc., and it needs to be updated once a year via physical and a couple other things. Anyway, cancel that. There's no registration of hands in order to box. All right? Myth dispelled. Second, there's another crazy one. Sex makes you weak. Now, if you're weak, you're just weak. Don't matter sex or not. But no. Sex could be considered good cardiovascular exercise, you know what I'm saying? And I do not honestly believe sex makes you weak for sparring the next day or the big fight the next day. Most boxers would stay away from their wives or girlfriends or whatever the day before the fight anyway. But there was a documentary done on this on Discovery Channel, I believe, many years ago, and they used the boxer Chris Bird and his wife. They did all kind of scientific tests and had probes on him, gauging his performance without sex and after sex. And believe it or not, all his levels on the charts and things were very great and better after sex. Anyway, take that one as you like it. Here's another one. Headgear prevents KOs and knockdowns. Nah. I seen fools getting knocked out with headgear on. Headgear's primary function and goal is to prevent abrasions, cuts, and other damages to the face. Headgear prevents headbutts if boxers wearing them, heads clash, as opposed to the skin and the bone damaging and splitting the skin. You know, there are different types of headgears, and a lot of boxers use the face saver type headgear. That's the one with the bar covering the face. Now, that gives you totally way better protection, especially on the nose, because as you know, in boxing, the nose is a cartilage. It's not really hard, and they get broken and busted up all the time. All right, let's move on, though. How-to boxing videos. You ever notice how that how-to makes it sound so nice and easy? Like if you read this thing or watch this video, you'll learn this thing. And it ain't that easy, people. It may be beneficial in theory, but there's no simple how-to routine in boxing. You got to actually try this thing and do it and experiment with it. And a lot of guys and people, they make videos and write books and things on how to, and they always make it seem so nice, plain and simple. Ain't nothing simple about boxing and the learning process. It's very hard and detailed. Next up, retired boxers makes the best coaches. I highly doubt that. Maybe slightly based on their experience, but I don't believe boxers make the best coaches because they're basically relying on what they learned from their coaches and passing it on to you. And a lot of times they don't actually give you detailed information from their own mind of experience. It's coming from previous coaches. So once again, coaches make the best coaches in boxing. Oh yeah, I get this one a lot in the winter time. When sick, just go to the gym and sweat it out. Man, no way. Stay your ass away from the gym. Only thing you're gonna do is get everyone else sick in the gym. And you can't sweat out the sickness. All right, I'm sure you heard this one. Weights are bad for boxing. You get too big and lose flexibility, etc., etc. Now, let me ask you a question. Any of you ever lifted weights for a little bit of time and screwed up and got too huge? I doubt it. Weight training can be beneficial to the boxer. Obviously, he's not lifting massive heavy weights and trying to be Mr. Olympia in bodybuild. But resistance training could be good for the muscles and tendons and reflexes in boxing, especially with a nice moderate high rep weight scheme. All right, what else we got here? PEDs. PEDs make you a better boxer. And I'm going to have to say no. Of course, it will enhance your performance, but that's about it. All right? I mean, PEDs aren't going to make you take a punch on the button a lot better. It's not going to prevent you from being knocked out or knocked down. PEDs aren't going to make your footwork sweeter. I hope you get an idea. Anyway, there's all kind of boxing myths and weird sayings out there, and sometimes we got to dispel the myths and, clean things up. All right, then, that's all I have for you. Catch you after the fights this weekend, people. I'm out.